This is
ask
Jordan.
you a question?
Oh, yes, of course.
Are we watch or pass?
That is a good question.
You have to tell us now that we did the interview.
That's true. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch or Pass. Today I'm joined by Jordan Weiss and Michelle Nader of Dollface Season 2, which is coming to Hulu on February 11th, 2022. We're going to talk to them in just a second, but first let's check out the trailer. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Also meant a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. This is Jordan Weiss and Michelle Nader of Dollface, which premieres on Hulu on February 11th, 2022. They are both executive producers. Jordan Weiss is a creator and Michelle is the showrunner. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So I just want to, I guess the first question I want to ask is, so the first season of Dollface ended on a cliffhanger, kind of a big kind of cliffhanger, drop the mic explosion kind of thing. And then it kind of went into hibernation for a bit. And now this season started. Did you have this kind of this story arc in mind when you had that big ending? Or was this something that you're just like, you know what, we're going to go big on the first season and then we'll just figure out what happens next season, you know, when and if they pick us up for another one?
I definitely had some ideas, but obviously there was a lot of time that passed in real life and a lot of world events that transpired. There was a bit of a pandemic that happened.
So you didn't have that planned in the shows?
I didn't know. It was
no.
weird. I wrote in a pandemic and then one happened.
It was that's so weird.
So yeah, that definitely gave us time to reassess how that would have informed where we would take the second season. And in between the first and second season, I met Michelle, who came to the table with some fantastic ideas as our new showrunner. And so that also really informed. So I would say, yeah, it was a very new, it capitalized on, I think, the sort of house we built in season one, but was really its own new thing that was a product of us together.
I think so. Yeah. And I was able to just jump into a world that was already very, very rich that Jordan had created, and was excited to explore the characters and develop them and deepen them and, you know, go with them on the journey that we then created together.
In our first conversation, Michelle pitched me an idea for one of the last scenes of the season. And then I sort of piggybacked on that and pitched an idea for one of the first scenes of the season. And so once that was, I mean, it was a productive first conversation, because once we had those 2 points, it was really fun with our group of writers to fill in everything that would get us from A to B.
Yeah, you had those bookends right there, and you're just happy with those. You just got to figure out the path.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes perfect sense. I've talked to a lot of people that, like, you know, the one thing that everyone kind of had during the pandemic was time. And so it's probably frustrating that you had to wait so long to continue the story and reinvent these characters. But then it also was probably nice to have that time to think and kind of plan and see what happened, and also make it relevant. Because I mean, the characters go through events that we're all going through right now, and probably are still going to be going through for a little bit. So
exactly, they start with that frustration in the first episode that we all felt, which was that they felt trapped and that they lost time. And I think that helped propel us into the season of this catch up with, you know, experience and careers and relationships. So,
and it's kind of funny. I mean, the show has always been semi-autobiographical for me and really pulled from my own life. So it was an interesting thing to pick up season 2, sort of fast forwarded to also where I am in my life, because I have grown up alongside these characters. You know, I wrote this pilot when I was 22, and I'm now the same age as the women in the show this season. So I've been a member of this fictional friend group in my brain for going on a decade.
I love that as well, because I was going to ask, you know, like, you created this, are these based on people that you know, aspects of your personality, your own friend group? And I kind of love that the show is progressing and these characters are progressing like in the same way that you are. So you are kind of unpacking your own experiences and feelings into the show and letting the world see, which is very brave and also must be fun as well.
Michelle's the showrunner and therapist. So I just tell her all the things that are wrong with my life. And then she infuses the wisdom of like, that's what that means. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now we can put it in the show.
So can you be my show? Like I could actually probably use a showrunner for my like life as well. I don't have anything interesting, but just it'd be nice to talk to someone.
Yeah. Or a therapist, you know, whatever. I can do both.
And so Michelle, Jordan mentioned that you came with a lot of experience. I saw your background. You have a lot of experience in the shows. You know, I imagine this season of Dollface, kind of post-pandemic, or maybe it was filming during the pandemic, was a very different experience for some of your previous work. So I guess, how has that been? How has that transition been? It sounds like you had some more time, but maybe there's new things to deal with and new concerns to deal with as well.
Well, I mean, we really did have to deal with the COVID of it all. And, I was saying this to someone that, with comedy, you really want to see people laughing and see their faces, and we had to wear masks. And, it was all in the eyes, like, when we were happy and like smiling and joyful or sad, so it was an interesting, kind of experiment really, to not be able to see people laughing.
I will say Michelle found a way to make PPE fabulous. Like, this is a woman who loves accessories. No one had more pairs of goggles. No one had more mask chains. Like, if there was a way to be like fully covered, like truly like the most pair of COVID protective eyewear that a person could own, you had in your like producer village.
Stickers on my glasses. Like, I was just trying to keep it cute and funny.
We tried to make it fun. You want the environment on set to be conducive to comedy.
That also sounds like kind of an untapped potential, because I mean, like, my PPE is not stylish, it's not fashionable at all. It's very kind of basic. I feel like that is an untapped market potential that could be out there.
We shot an episode of the season as a music festival, and so the actresses in the show were all very like glammed out for the music festival, and they had rhinestones, and I had the rhinestones on my goggles that the girls are wearing in the show.
That's awesome.
It was, and we have these Dollface necklaces.
Oh yeah, this is our
we made.
I love it. I love that.
All the actresses in the show have them as well. It's our little.
It also unfolds into a mask, right? That's how
it does. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And actually, all the storylines for season 3 are engraved on the back, but I can't show you.
I can't see. Can you zoom a little close? And I'm sure that'll change after the next pandemic that we have.
Oh my God. I'm knocking on wood.
I'll knock on something too. So I know we have limited time, so I'd like to switch. I call it the lightning round. They're just very lightweight questions, kind of about the series and a few of the episodes, and see how your experiences map to things that happened in the film or the show. You can feel free not to answer any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay.
The first question is, have you ever been to a Roaring 20s theme party? Because I loved that scene.
I have.
Ooh.
My senior year of college.
That's awesome. And I guess, what was the last party you have been to? Because I feel like that's something that is in the past, and that might be a very long time ago.
We went to Lily.
We went to Lily Singh's Diwali Party,
and that was like fully post. It felt like post.
It was pre-Omicron.
Yeah.
It was like a safe space in between variants where
there was that lovely endless summer that we had of like 2 months for like, this is going to get better, and then like, nope, sorry, now we're going to go right back to everything.
And Lily is like such an amazing addition to the cast this season, and was graciously hosted us at her house for a Diwali party, which was
so we had a full on very big party night. But that's amazing. And then it was a shutdown again. We were all back in our houses.
Yeah, well, we had that moment,
permission
right?
to be in the same Zoom box.
I was a little surprised. I love that you are, like, it makes it so much easier to talk to you, but I was a little surprised that you're both in the same Zoom box, but I assume you're used to it from work, so
together. So yeah.
Have you ever made the excuse to leave a conversation?
1,000,000,000%, yeah.
That is my signature move, really. Leaving parties, leaving conversations.
Where should go? I can remember I was talking to somebody once, and I like kind of needed help out of the conversation, and Michelle was walking by, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she just went, no. She just said no. Like, she could see what I was asking, and that is the being able to communicate without words is something that we put into the show, because I feel like when you spend enough time with someone on a set, and we have the eye communication.
Yes, because we only did have eyes. So our eyes spoke. Jordan wrote this amazing thing that Eliza Schlesinger did for a magical reel thing.
In episode 6.
Best friend.
Best friend, eye contact, American English is the language that we wrote into the show.
It's really good.
And I like to think that, Michelle knew that you needed to go through this conversation, so she didn't want to this was part of her therapy for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could tell it was good for
And it was
me.
also, I knew I couldn't be part of it.
It was like a person on the studio lot where we
Who
filmed
had,
who
like,
didn't even work for our show. And I don't know, they like wandered in and they were injured.
They were injured. and
They
I
had
was
like been
I
riding
love
their
getting
bike
involved in
around the
this.
studio lot. And I was like, I don't understand how to help you.
This is
I assume some sort of robot hit them, and that's why they were injured.
Yes, oh my gosh. Deliver us on premium. You'll never guess what company we're not alluding to.
It could be anyone, right? Who knows?
It could be literally anyone.
And the last question is, what is on your vision boards?
Ooh,
season 3.
Yes, Dollface season 3.
For sure. More shows like this that I can create. I mean, I love working with Jordan, and kind of this is my dream, because I have been doing this a really long time, and I love doing female driven stories about females driving.
But I'm a writer. Michelle is a writer and a producer, and also has directed and is going to continue to direct. And I really look up to her. So I would say I'm putting directing on my vision board. I'm attached to a project to direct it.
Yes.
That would be my first thing. So I really hope I get the opportunity to do that.
Oh, that is awesome. Those both sound like great vision boards, and that also sounds like you have a nice path of growth. So thank you so much for joining.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes, of course.
Are we watch or pass?
That is a good question.
You have to tell us now that we did the interview.
That's true. I'm gonna say watch. Like I actually hadn't seen Dollface. I hadn't seen
That'd
the first.
be so funny if you were like, "You're actually a pass, bye," and just hung up.
Wait, what's that over there? I've got to go. I have a UTI.
What did you just use to get out of that conversation?
I know. Well, no,
I
I
have a
thought
UTI
she was
after
going to
run.
ask you about your background, because it's so
It's very
Dollface.
Dollface.
I mean,
Oh.
It's a very like sort of intimidating name of a outlet to be watch or pass. I'm like, well, how are we pass? We can't be pass. We just did the whole conversation.
I will say that I'm always happy to talk to people about whatever they work on. Like I love talking to people about their work, and I can always find something I like to talk about. I've talked to people that I've recommended to pass. I've talked to people I've recommended to watch, and it's always a fun conversation. But I like Dollface. I hadn't seen the first season, and I kind of started watching it to prep, and just kind of kept watching it because it was just really fun to be engaged with these characters. So.
Well, we have this down, and this is I'm a notary, so now you have to do.
This is legally binding.
Yeah, don't you have to tell me if you're a notary?
Not a pass.
You have to tell me if you're a notary, though, right? If I ask the question. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for chatting. I think my time is up. So.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was Jordan Weiss and Michelle Nader talking about Dollface Season 2, which is coming to Hulu on February 11th, 2022. It's a fun female-led comedy that touches on success and life and friends, and also has some very relatable subject matter. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And please check out my other content. I've got other interviews, reviews, unboxing videos, and movie recommendations. Thank you.